up everyone, Kawaii here. I recently watched Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, which means that I have watched every single anime adaptation of Demon Slayer so far, so I thought it'd be cool to rank them all from worst to best. So here we go. Coming in at number 6, we have the Hashira training arc. Now, I want to make something very clear. I'm not putting this in dead last place because I think the Hashira training arc is bad or anything. Quite the opposite. I actually enjoyed the Hashira training arc quite a bit. I do think it gets a lot of hate though. It seems like a lot of people think that the Hashira training arc is like trash or mid or whatever you want to call it. I personally disagree. It was really nice to see Tanjiro getting along with the other Demon Slayers. We got some great character development from him. Also, the last episode with Muzan's entrance. Oh, woo! Fire. Absolute fire. And also that moment with Tamio stepping in and wounding him, holding him back. Really great stuff. Also, we got to see that fight between Giyu and the one dude with the scars whose name eludes me. That was pretty cool. But yeah. And Hashira training arc was actually very enjoyable for me. However, I do have to put Hashira training arc at the bottom because the hype moments and memorable scenes in that arc, it just doesn't compare to other Demon Slayer anime adaptations. Coming in at number 5, we have the very first season of Demon Slayer. The season that started it all. That's when we were first introduced to Tanjiro, to Nezuko, to Zenitsu, to Inosuke, to the Hashiras, and I believe to Muzan as well. And a lot of demons, let's just say. We did get quite a few good fights from season 1, like the whole fights with the spider demons, and that one like Demon Slayer trial where Genya was introduced. Yeah, both instances really good. However, the fights in season 1 they don't really compare to the fights in the rest of the series. And also, aside from that the first time we saw Tanjiro come back to his whole family slaughtered, I can't really recall any memorable, emotional moments from season 1. Of course, it has been what, 5? No, not 5. Well, 7 years since season 1 aired, so yeah, I can't recall too much. But yeah, season 1. That's pretty much why season 1 is going to be at number 5 on the list. Coming in at number 4, we have Swordsmith Village. I believe this is the first arc where Zenitsu and Inosuke do not make a significant appearance. It was mostly just about Tanjiro, Nezuko, Mitsuri, and Tokido. But yeah, Swordsmith Village had some great fights. Great character development for Tokido and Mitsuri. However, I'm still not really over the ending where they made it look like Nezuko was going to die, and they were setting up this really big emotional moment with Nezuko. But they totally play with our feelings, and it turns out that Nezuko is not going to die in the sunlight, but instead she built up an immunity to sunlight, and she can now talk. So, yeah, I still think I'm still not approving of the way they just play with our emotions like that. And also, I still think it's kind of bullshit that Nezuko just magically, out of nowhere, gain immunity to sunlight. But yeah, other than that, Swordsmith Village, very, very enjoyable arc. All right, we are in the top 3 now. Coming in number 3, we have the Entertainment District arc. Man, what a fantastic arc that was, man. We got the fights between Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Tengen versus Gyutaro and Daki. And man, seeing Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke working together in beautiful unison to take out Daki was just, oh man. It was just such a magical hype moment. And also the final fight between Tengen and Gyutaro was really fucking good as well. And that was the arc when we really got to see Nezuko just really putting her demon powers to good use. Lots of great Nezuko shine in Entertainment District arc. Um, However, I can't put it at number two or number one though, because I mean, while of course the shining stars of that arc was the fights. Um, Aside from that though, there wasn't really anything spectacular going on in Entertainment District arc, but still go really good fucking arc, and that's why it's at number three. At number two, we have the most recent entry in the Demon Slayer anime series, Infinity Castle Part 1. Now, I'm not sure if it's because I watched it in theaters and that just enhances everything, but I think the action, the animation, the visuals, the sound design is probably the best in this series so far. Like, oh my god, seeing it all come together while I was watching it in theaters was just, oh my god, it was phenomenal. One thing I love about Infinity Castle is that the movie just jumps straight into the action. I mean, yeah, we did see at the beginning Gyomei walking through the cemetery and all that, but other than that, like, it just picks up right where Hashira training arc left off. There is no exposition scenes. There is no like calm before the storm where we see the characters, you know, enjoying life, having a good time before shit goes down. No, during the first few minutes, we just go straight to the good stuff, straight to the demon slaying, and it was great. It was I love that. We also got quite a few like memorable emotional moments from Infinity Castle as well, like the whole thing surrounding Zenitsu and his master, and of course the shining star of Infinity Castle is pretty much everything surrounding Akaza, his fight with Tanjiro and Giyu, his backstory, that emotional moment that he had with his family. I know a lot of people were very emotional over that. Although me personally, I didn't have too strong of a emotional response to that scene, those scenes. But I can understand why other people would really like that, and would really get emotional over that. However, one critique I would give to Infinity Castle is that I kind of was expecting more. I mean, yeah, I get it. This is only part one of a trilogy, but like, I would rather have like a two-parter with a lot of substance over like a three-parter with not as much substance. But that's just me, of course. Still, though, I love Infinity Castle. I think Infinity Castle was just really was just absolutely amazing. And that leaves Mugen Train in the number one spot. Man, where do I even begin? First of all, let's talk about the action. Phenomenal. The fight between Tanjiro and Inosuke versus that train demon, as well as the fight between Akaza and Rengoku. Oh, so good. Both top tier fights. The characters. First of all, I thoroughly believe that Mugen Train is Tanjiro at his peak. And the reason I said it is because we get to see the survivor's guilt that he felt, with him and Nezuko being the only surviving members of his family, and how it affected him emotionally when he actually got to reunite with them, even though it was in his dreams and not reality. We got to see his kindness towards humans, as we saw, you know, how much he prioritized saving the passengers, as well as the train conductor that's literally stabbed him in the stomach. And we also got to see his ruthlessness towards demons, especially when we saw him chuck his sword at Akaza and him just yelling at the top of his lungs with rage and fury as Akaza just runs off into the forest. Beautiful. Also, Inosuke was incredible in this movie as well, as we saw both his goofiness and we got to see like this emotional side of him when Rengoku died, and how he had to be the one to help talk to Tanjiro and help Tanjiro with his grief after Rengoku died. Nezuko was adorable in this arc. In the short time that we saw her, and Zenitsu was also in this arc, but I mean he did have his great moments, especially when he was able to save Nezuko from the train demon, from those fleshy tentacles. However, I do think that he had better moments later on in the series, especially in the Entertainment District arc and the Infinity Castle. Speaking of Tanjiro and his Survivors Guild, yeah, let's talk about the emotional moments, man. I know a lot of people praise the Akaza's backstory and Akaza's moments in Infinity Castle for its emotional impact. However, Tanjiro's reaction to seeing his family again in his dreams and his final talk with Rengoku, that, in my opinion, for me at least, that hits harder than Akaza's backstory. That's the emotional moments in Mugen Train are, in my opinion, just the best in the series so far. And yeah, overall, Mugen Train is just like it was incredibly satisfying from beginning to end. And yeah, that's why I would put this at as the best Demon Slayer anime adaptation for me. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this ranking in the comment section down below. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter, and I will see you guys next time.